Lighting is one of the most powerful ways to make your videos look amazing. Using proper lighting techniques, you can turn an ordinary shot like this one into something that looks like this. Let's get into it. Hello creators, I'm Ben Tolson from Podia, where we empower creators like you to make a living doing what you love. Even if you don't have a super fancy camera, proper lighting technique can make your videos look stunning. In this video, I want to walk you through the different types of lights, how they work, and how to set them up to get the best results. I'll go over the 3-point lighting technique first, then I'll talk you through some more advanced lighting techniques. The 3-point lighting technique consists of 3 lights: the key light, the fill light, and the rim light. The first light we're going to set up is our key light. The key light is the brightest light, and its job is to light the subject. This light can be artificial or it can be natural light from a window. The key light is usually set up on one side of the subject at a 45-degree angle and lights half of the subject. Pay attention to how high or low you're setting up your light. If you set it up higher, it'll cast more shadows on the lower parts of your face. And if you set it up low, it will illuminate the lower parts of your face. Also, pay attention to how bright this light is. You may want to take a test shot through your camera to make sure the light is sufficient but also not too bright. The second light we're going to set up is called the fill light. The fill light is not quite as bright as the key light and is set up on the opposite side of the subject, also at a 45-degree angle. The fill light's job is to soften the shadows created by the key light. You'll want to set the fill light up at the same height as the key light. Another method for creating a fill light is bouncing light from the key light with some kind of reflective surface. Before we move on to the last light in the 3-point lighting technique, I want to talk to you about a few things you'll want to keep in mind while setting up these first 2 lights. If you're using artificial light for your key and fill lights, you'll want to use some kind of filter to diffuse the light. With my lighting set, I have these white umbrellas that cause the light to scatter a bit more, which softens the shadows so the light looks more natural. If you don't have a professional softbox or a fancy umbrella like mine, you can even use a white sheet to have a similar effect. Some lights allow you to adjust the brightness and temperature of the light. When adjusting the brightness, the goal is not to have the most light possible, but the appropriate amount of light for what your camera needs in your studio. If you're in a dark room that doesn't have much ambient light, you'll want to add more light. If you're in a room that has more ambient light, you won't need to add as much light. When we talk about the temperature of light, we aren't talking about how hot or cold the light is in degrees, but how warm or cool the light is in color. In most cases, you can set the color temperature based on the color temperature of the ambient light in the room. If your room has a lot of morning or midday sunlight, that tends to be cooler. If your room has a lot of evening sunlight or lamplight, the ambient light will tend to be warmer. You'll want to offset the coolness or warmness of the light with the temperature setting on your artificial light. Now, your camera has what's called a white balance, which automatically adjusts the camera to account for the color of the light in your room, but it's best to make the light look as natural as possible before turning the camera on so that the light temperature isn't beyond what the camera can adjust for. The last light we'll set up for our 3-point lighting is the rim light. The rim light is usually set up behind and above the subject to cast a rim of light on the subject and separate them from the background. There are a number of ways to set this up to create different backlit effects. You can set it up directly behind the subject to create a more dramatic halo, or you can set it up further away from the subject to make a softer, more subtle light along one side. Adding just these 3 lights can make a huge difference, but if you really want to take your video to the next level, check out some of these more advanced techniques. I'm going to go over 3 of them with you: background lighting, practical lighting, and light blocking. Background lighting. The purpose of background lighting is to illuminate your background and balance the light in the background with the light in the foreground. You may be very well lit, but your background might seem unnaturally dark. Adding some background lighting can make the whole shot look more natural. Practical lighting. Practical lighting can make your background more interesting. You don't want to overuse this because you don't want to distract from the main subject, but it can add a little bit of visual interest to your overall shot. You can use lamps, colored LED lights, or small shelf lights to achieve the practical lighting effect you're going for. Light blocking. In some cases, you may want to prevent light from reaching either your subject or your background. In my studio, I use a blackout curtain to block extra light from coming in through one of my windows. While I do want my shot to be well lit, the light coming in from the window makes it difficult to set the other lights in my shot properly, so I block it out. You might also have a light that you want to fulfill a specific purpose, like a rim light casting a halo of light on the subject, but you don't want that light to illuminate the background. For this, you can use what are called barn doors, which block and direct the light so that you can point it in the direction you want it to go without illuminating other elements in your shot. The best way to set up your lighting is in a space where you can leave it set up for the duration of your filming session. This is especially helpful if you're someone who consistently produces video content. If you can't leave the lighting set up, make sure you mark where you set your lights up, the heights of your lights, and any other settings you might have used for your lights like brightness or color temperature. Lighting is said to be as much of an art as it is a science. There are fundamental things that we can predict based on the room we're setting up in or how much light and what kind of light is already available. But the best way to know you're lighting your shot properly is to see it through your camera. Don't be afraid to take some time to experiment and find the perfect lighting setup for your course video. How are you going to use these tips to take your online course videos to the next level? Are you going to start out with the 3-point lighting technique, or are you going to go all in and try out some of the more advanced techniques? Let me know below in the comments. If you found this video helpful and you want more relevant content like this, click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you can be sure not to miss any videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.